Hey everybody! Are we live?
Yes.
Everything's working this time?
Yes.
Okay, good. Jesus!
Yo!
Welcome back!
Yeah. I was sick for a hot minute. Not gonna lie about that.
Well, I mean, your lack of moral consistency notwithstanding. How you been?
Other than coughing up a lung and a ton of mucus, pretty good.
Ew.
Was it your lung?
It was a lung.
I know a guy in Russia that I think would love to talk to you. Anyway, though, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
At the moment, sir.
Yeah, I know. We might actually get in trouble just for mentioning him. Anyway, though. Hello, boys and girls, children of all ages. Hopefully people are flooding in. I noticed last time it took a minute for people to show up, too. But anyway, so I mentioned that it's going to be a bit of a surprise tonight. And so we just came home from watching Godzilla -1. And I'm kind of a lazy prick, so it's past 30 seconds, right? I can say prick, right? Yeah, we're past 30 seconds.
Are we, though?
I think so. I hope we are. And so tonight we're going to be talking about the Godzilla franchise in more detail. We talked about them a little bit when we were celebrating B movies, which was actually your idea.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that because I think I got sick. Or something else happened. I don't remember.
You haven't been sick. You weren't sick that long.
I think it was about a week. What was last week's episode?
Last week we were talking about fairies,
Little folk.
the wee folk,
Um,
and how
Kobolds.
Heracles got his shoelaces stolen
Oh no.
by kobolds.
It's not like you can go get another pair.
The disdain. Did they hit a nerve? Is there some backstory behind Jesus and Heracles having a rivalry?
There is now.
There is now.
I miss my beard.
Hi, Mr. Bishop. Hi, Tara. Tara's in a church right now. Oh. So, with my voice coming out of the speaker, is like there's smoke and stuff like that? Am I causing anything bad to happen in the church, Tara?
Has the building caught on fire?
You know what's weird? Everyone jokes about that, like burning in churches. There was this one church I went into, and it felt so painfully cold.
It was probably
It's
no longer blessed by its god, and something else took over.
I don't know, but everyone was mad at me because I kept complaining that it was so freaking cold. Anyway, though, tonight we're going to be talking about Godzilla -1 and some of our favorite Godzilla films.
Godzilla noises, and in other words, from the Austin Powers movie, Godzilla, 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 Godzilla. But not Godzilla because we don't have the copyrights. But still, Godzilla.
So, Kristoff, when do you think your channel is going to get monetized? Never. Anyway, though. So, before we dive right into this, and I'm just going to say it now. Mild spoilerish talk. We'll try and
mild spoilers talk.
mild. Well, I don't know what people consider a spoiler or not and shit like that.
Any type of information from the movie?
Pretty much anything that happens in the movie that we can't really talk about without spoiling the movie. Unless you want this.
Disrespect your surroundings. We're gonna talk about. There's probably gonna be spoilers.
Now we could do a non-spoiler section and a spoiler section. But I feel
That sounds like way too much work.
I feel we need spoilers to be able to talk about.
Yeah, this movie.
Because the trailers.
The trailers.
Trailers
really-
don't hardly show anything, and the flow of the movie is so well done, where like it's yeah.
You can't really. I feel like you can't really talk about this movie, and do it justice, and also avoid spoilers. Because okay, we're gonna get a big spoiler out of the way right off the bat. This movie will what did you say? it will make your eyes sweat. That's what you said, right?
Yeah. There were a couple scenes in there.
Yeah,
that made my eye
there
burn.
there were some of those. There were some ninjas in that auditorium cutting onions.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
It could have been the little folk just like sneaking up on our shoulders, dicing up onions.
And
Yeah!
the words from the anchor man, how dare you put this water in my eye?
Yeah, no, this movie, it.
There was definitely some onions cut in that theater.
Oh God, yes, yeah, there were. I wish I had known this bloody movie was coming to America in the first damn place, because I didn't know. I know it's like this is like our third. It's like the third week now. I wasn't able to get there sooner, so if anyone's wondering, wait, why are you doing a review now? Well, because this was the first chance I had to go and see it. Actually,
I didn't even think it was coming over here. To be
I
honest.
didn't either. I thought it wasn't going to be a thing, but it was.
And if it was coming over here, I thought it was gonna be like after a while.
Hi, Mom. But yeah, no, a very, very emotional movie actually. And now, for the uninitiated, this is a subtitled film. It's not an English dub. But you know what's weird? The subtitles had like this perfect pace and rhythm that I never felt like I was distracted by them.
Actually, yeah, and like from seeing like anime movies, like subtitled stuff, like.
See, you're probably used to.
Oh no! Like there are times where I have to pause, rewind a bit, go back, and like, what was that? And then continue, and then
No.
I'm a slow reader, so like that's.
See, I think I missed one sentence. But what's funny is, at the same time, there was some really good acting going on that screen. Like I didn't even need to really read it half the time to understand, at the very least, how are they feeling. And this is gonna be more of a tease than a spoiler. Kid near the end, when he wanted to go help them and fight, that was actually kind of gut wrenching.
Oh yeah.
When he wanted to go with them.
Yeah, they didn't. They told him no because.
Well,
Well, at first he thought it was because he wasn't part of World War II.
yeah,
And he didn't have any experience, but they told him that like it's a good thing that you haven't been to war.
yeah. Being a non-veteran is something that you should cherish.
So, also for the people who don't know much about this movie, it's set right at the end of World War II.
Yeah, it spans from 45 to 47.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it didn't address Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
It did not, no.
It mentioned Operations Crossroads.
Also, the town they were in was bombed, and they mentioned Tokyo was
Also bombed. Now, was Tokyo actually bombed? Did we actually bomb Tokyo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did actually hit Tokyo.
Not nuclearly, but with a bunch of
Raids,
carpet bombs and
yeah.
raids. And
Yeah, okay. But,
Also, this bomb ended up setting the few cities on fire just because of how close some of the buildings were.
yeah. It was pretty gnarly. Also, which actually goes to point, I loved the setting. You know what I mean. It looked great. It looked like these people were in a really bad way. It did not look clean and neat. You ever notice that? Especially in American films, they have ghettos, but they don't really look like ghettos. You know what I mean?
Like in this, like you could tell, like it was a waste, like the aftermath of war, pretty much. Like buildings ruined, houses destroyed.
Yeah.
And then it
The ceilings were leaking.
yeah, it shows a progression of like him building a little hut. Is pretty much what it was. The roof's leaking. It looks roughly made. There's like a small bed, little small kitchen area, and the kitchen was just literally a like little fire pit. And then once he starts being able to get back on his feet, it actually starts looking more of like a home.
Yeah. Very good attention to detail, and I think it's kind of funny. And I know this is crude, and you're not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about money. Everyone says this film had a budget of equating to $15 million. Here's what I think is hilarious. Toho actually came out and was offended by this notion because they claim they spent even less.
The funny part is there was more money spent in like in the average fucking TV show, like most of the Avengers show, Marvel shows.
Oh God, yeah, no.
Some of them, like,
yeah, no. It's hilarious because this whole movie cost more than a single episode of Rings of Power. Let that sink in for a moment, folks. Let that sink in. One of the worst programs to ever be put on streaming, and one episode cost more than this movie. And
in my honest opinion, that just shows, like, it doesn't matter what the budget is. If you have a group of people working on it that actually care about the product, what they're doing, how it's going to come out, it's going to turn out great.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the people, everybody behind this loved what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
They actually cared about the project.
I hate to admit it, because I'm pretty sure this is a sin. But I even liked the little girl.
Yeah.
I did not expect to like her at all. Even when her two big scenes are her crying, and I hate crying babies. I hate the sound of crying children. But I never disliked that character.
No, because one of them it showed like the so pretty much the main character was in town and this girl handed him a baby and he had no idea what to do with the child. So he sits in the middle of the little the little shopping district for hours. Like she handed the kid like morning going into the afternoonish. And next thing we know is like the sun's setting. He's still sitting there with the baby. He thinks about just leaving it, then he just walks away.
I'm gonna be honest, and this isn't against you, but when I saw the girl running, I could tell from the way that she was holding whatever she was holding. I was like, "That's a baby. That is a baby," and she shoves it into oh God, how did you pronounce his name? Kochi. Kochi, I think was the character's name.
Kochi, yeah.
Kochi, yeah. She shoves it into this bundle into Kochi's arms, and I'm like, "That's a kid. That is a child." And they changed the camera angle so you could see it was a baby. I honestly thought you were gonna bust up laughing.
To be honest, like
she just abruptly abandoned a baby.
Like I just didn't have nothing to come up because usually when if I'm at the movies and something like that happens, I like to pop up a good joke, and nothing came up. Like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, when Dobby was there and he got shaked.
Oh, was that funny?
Yeah, that was hilarious. Dobby should have I forgot what I said, but I got people around me laughing. And at the same time, someone, like a few people were mad and they said something. I'm like, but what if? And I responded, am I wrong? If Dobby would have stopped yapping his damn mouth and teleported everybody. No. That's what it was. When he said Dobby is a free elf, I'm like, Dobby got shanked.
Also, spoilers for Harry Potter. Sorry, everybody.
Man, if you have not seen that by now, that's on you. That thing's been out for a minute. But like from them coming to strangers, because he walks away from the plaza. She pops up out of nowhere, takes the baby back, and she follows him home. Because she found that interesting that he didn't leave the baby there, and he thought about it too. Like, he set the baby down and started walking away and then stopped.
Also, for context, she's running from the police because she stole food or something.
She stole food for the baby.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. It's a kid.
Yeah.
It's right after the war ends, the city they were in was
setting the rashes for everybody. Like,
yeah,
that's what they have to do. And
she stole food from the kid, and the police were chasing her, and she just threw the baby in this guy's arms, which is our main
And I
star.
found it funny that the cops didn't stop and question him.
Yeah,
and they just kept following her.
It's like
that part was funny.
I just got a baby. Okay.
I thought you would laugh at the absurdity of the fact that she literally just shorthand passed a baby.
But then it goes from like she follows him home, just moves herself in with the kid, and he doesn't he protests, but he doesn't force them out. And then it shows the progression of time where I think it was a year later, and he's looking for work. He finally found something. She's upset about what it is, but he's like, we need the money or she's going to die.
Yeah, and the kid's going to die. 'Cause...
Yeah, they didn't have the right nutrition. By the way, I don't remember what her actual name was, but I know they called her Auntie. I love Auntie. Real quick. Anyone in the chat who hears this, who loves the character archetype of the sassy, sick of your shit grandma?
Yeah, that was the neighbor.
Auntie, yeah.
Because the next day, she found he leaves to go get water, and she comments about him bringing the girl and the baby home, and because he's a disgraced soldier because he was supposed to commit kamikaze and he didn't, so she's upset about that because she lost her family and blames him for the air raids because he didn't do what he was supposed to.
Yeah,
So she...
I believe her words were, "My kids died because you wouldn't."
Yeah. Something around those lines. And then later on that night, during that conversation, she figures out that the kid's not hers. So she goes over to go see how they're taking care of the kid. She's lecturing them about they're not doing a good job. You guys can eat whatever you want, the kid can't.
Yeah, because this is a baby. The baby needs.
It's literally a baby.
Yeah, and then again, so when in that time period he gets a job where he has to dismine, blow up pretty much sea mines.
Yeah.
And she's not happy about it because of how dangerous it is. And then he.
But also 3,000 yen in advance. That's not even his salary. That was literally just for being stupid enough to agree.
Yeah. I like how you bought a motorcycle before anything else. Not gonna fix the roof or anything. I need a bike.
I love him. I love our.
But let's be honest. Most veterans, when they came back during that time period, when they came back, they were dealing with issues, and most of them started riding motorcycles and stuff. It fits.
It does. And that's, by the way, another thing we need to address. And this goes back to those little kobold bastards who were cutting onions in the theater. This movie does not, for one single second, let you breathe on the topic of survivor's guilt, shell shock, whatever you want, PTSD, call it what you want.
No, it's World War II. It's shell shock.
That was what they called it back then, yeah. Ugh.
And then...
way to date yourself, man. Jeez.
Forget you. I'm the youngest one here.
I know, and I hate you for it.
And then it goes from them having his colleagues coming over having dinner. One of them mentioned how she's a lovely wife, and then she says that she's not a wife, and she you can tell she's upset about that because they've been living together for a hot minute by then.
By then, that would be
a year or so.
They were close to a year.
No, I think it was a little over.
It could have, yeah.
Because the kid was already she was already.
Yeah, no,
around and whatnot.
She was already up and walking, so
Yeah.
she would have had to have been close to 2 at least.
Yeah.
And he never proposed to her or anything.
And then the kid starts again. She's a baby. She doesn't know that that's not her mom. That's not his dad. That they're complete strangers to her. They have no blood ties, but they're still a family.
Yeah, and at this point, the kids walk in
She calls her mom. He calls him dad. But because of what he's going through mentally, he feels that he shouldn't be alive. So he tells her that I've told you, I'm not your dad.
Don't call me daddy.
Dad. And you can see the kid, it upsets the kid and his coworkers. They call him out for that.
Oh yeah, no, I real quick, I absolutely. It's funny because I'm thinking about it now. I love Auntie. You know what? I love Coach. I love Kachi. I think he was a great character. I love the captain.
Oh yeah,
I love
that
Captain.
dude took. Zero BS from anyone on that crew.
My favorite line was, "Wait, I thought you didn't like government orders." Oh, with a passion!
Yup.
Oh, I
And then
loved
he's
it.
like, but if we don't do this, who will? And then he sees the other boat, like the sister boat, like just get eaten. And he's like, running. Yep, that's what we're doing.
Never mind. I think that was actually what the subtitles said.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. And then he just like slams it, and the boat won't go. He's like, Doc.
Real quick, okay. So we'll go to that part. So Kachi, the failed, and I use that term loosely, failed kamikaze.
Koichi, yeah.
Koichi.
So
He gets a job recovering ocean mines alongside Captain, Doc, and Kid.
That's literally their names.
That's literally their nicknames. They actually specifically make a point of call us this. Hi, Connie.
Actually, no. He introduces all of them, but the captain's like Captain, Doc, Kid.
And I
He's
remember
like, "Why
Kid
you
was
keep-
like, "I'm not a kid."
Yeah, but you're still green.
and Kid was the one, he wasn't in the war.
Yeah, he was.
He was the young veteran kid.
Yeah, the
Everyone else
unveteran.
was,
But anyway,
but you. I'm sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say I loved those guys. But I particularly loved Captain. I loved that response. I thought you hated government orders. Oh, with a passion. And then, like 30 seconds later, never mind.
Because they're being chased by Godzilla in the sea.
Oh yeah.
Godzilla literally just comes up like Jaws and picks up this other boat in his mouth and just goes back down into the water like a Diglett from hell. Which, by the way, do we want to talk about the big guy himself?
Out of the few Godzilla movies I've seen, because I haven't seen that many, and I'll admit that.
Heretic.
Forget you. When they first showed him, like, his stature, like, isn't as big. So we were talking after we watched the movie, and I think that he's like, at that point he's young. He's
not quite a baby Godzilla.
but not like an adult or teen Godzilla.
At the opening of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, by the way, this movie wastes no time.
Oh yeah.
I had heard how Godzilla shows up in the first 5 minutes of this movie, so I was actually counting. I was counting like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I was going to see, okay, am I going to get to 500 before he shows up? Nope. I don't think I even made it to 300.
No, because it's him landing, them expecting his aircraft, and them realizing that he did that just so he wouldn't end his life subscription on his own. Because I'm pretty sure if I say the word, we're gonna get demonetized, and we're gonna know.
Well, I'm not monetized already. But.
So basically the opening of the movie is the main character comes in his plane, claiming he's damaged. He was a fighter pilot for Japan.
Pilot.
In World War II, until Japan started losing the war and they were ordered to become kamikaze fighters, and he couldn't sacrifice himself.
He was scared.
He was scared, so he said something was wrong with his plane, and he came to this airbase for repairs. They basically realized he was faking it, but they're kind of like, "We know you're faking. Be quiet."
Like the head mechanic, like he knew, like he got it.
Takebana.
Like he got it, like.
Takebana, yeah.
I think that was his name, Takebana. And it's funny is he even said it was like, I don't
Godzilla
fault
down.
you. Oh
Godzilla
no.
down.
I think it was kind of funny. He didn't fault him. It's like, I don't blame you for not wanting to die. Are you joking?
Yeah.
But I know that you were faking it.
And then Godzilla shows up and attacks the island, and
Kachi, he freezes up
Yeah, and
trying to fight Godzilla, and so Takebana blamed him.
yeah, because he froze up being kamikaze pilot. He froze up on the 20 millimeter, which they say, oh, a 20 millimeter will kill anything. It's like, not Godzilla.
It's a big round, bro.
That's a big round, but that's a bigger target. And on top of that, and I know this is player information, but I'm sorry, a 20 mil would not have worked on Godzilla, especially
what
because
we know.
this Godzilla has regenerative powers.
Oh yeah.
See,
Yeah,
that's a
'cause
big
when-
spoiler.
'cause
So
when he was chasing them on the boat scene, like they had two sea mines rigged up to detonate by switch.
Tara, it is only in theaters.
and very few theaters in America are playing this right now.
Less than 1,000 theaters in North America, but I believe that number has been going up. It might be over 1,000 now. So look in your area. Not a film to take the kids with.
No.
No, this is a movie that does not pull punch. I wouldn't say it's violent.
It's
per
not really
se.
violent,
It
but
touches
it's-
on certain subjects that
Kids are not. Kids don't need to talk about PTSD and a soldier literally screaming, "What if I'm actually dead?"
and then people getting bitten by Godzilla,
Bitten in half.
thrown, yeeted into the air like Raggedy Ann dolls.
I noticed he didn't eat anybody.
No, he threw
didn't.
them.
He chomped them and threw them
Oh,
and stomped
funny.
them.
One of the bodies he grabbed, like someone ran up to try to get one of their comrades, and he like grabbed them and just went.
Yeah, he did that like to 2 or 3 of them. I would say he just
Yeah.
threw them. He was
And
literally.
then there was a group of three, and this is within the opening scene too. There was a group of 3 of them just shooting their rifles, and Godzilla turns around, and just smacks all 3 of them with his
tail. It was horrible, but it was kind of funny
It
too. I
was.
feel bad.
Um,
Also, real quick, but I wanted to talk about how he appears. This is a very interesting Godzilla.
I actually liked how he looked on this one.
I did too.
For starters, yes, it was a man in a costume. They enhanced it with CG effects, like layered over it. But yes, no, that was a actor in a bunch of gear. So, kudos for getting that right.
Oh yeah, like it reminded me of like the old school Godzilla movies.
I noticed that
Yeah.
this one had a very pronounced chest.
It did. It was like
And hips.
It was the chest went it had like a circle, and then that went up to a circle, and
we'll
then
get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that near the end because that's a theory I have. But no, this was a very, despite having skinny arms like Shin Godzilla did, this was a Godzilla that looked very strong. It looked muscular.
oh yeah, and then because within the time period of him with his colleagues and stuff, and then they throw news reports of when America was testing more into the nuclear stuff.
Oh yeah, by the way, there's a cameo by fucking MacArthur. I did not expect that. That blew my mind. They actually...
So, also, by the way, we're like all over the place with the movie, but we're still like in the first act, what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is all... everything is still... This is a movie that had really freaking good pacing. It didn't feel rushed like The Rise of Palpatine. It didn't feel slow as hell.
No, like when it started, it was just going.
It went and it never let up, but it kept a very consistent pace, I think.
It did follow the humans a lot, but when Godzilla was on screen,
Like he was on screen.
he was on screen. We saw him. They didn't keep him half hidden behind buildings or in the dark.
The only time when like he was hidden was like when he was in the ocean, and that's when he was chasing something.
Yeah.
But even that,
Even in the scene with the young Godzilla, when it was nighttime, but they still managed to light it up well enough.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
he's like, "You dare shine light on me!"
Seriously, that's what pissed it off, I think.
It was like, and then he just walks over and knocks the thing down. There's like a little power surge like underneath, and he's like, "Stop!"
No.
And then fireball, and he's like, "You dare hurt me!"
You think that hurts?
And then, but like, the boat scene where like, because during the testing they wake him up and he starts making his way over to Japan.
the testing, by the way, is Operation Crossroads with the Bikini Atoll blast,
Yeah.
which they recreated for the movie from historical footage.
Yep. Same with MacArthur. That was historical filming that they added into the movie.
And then
It was an actual cameo by MacArthur.
Yeah, General Douglas MacArthur. And
What I thought was cool was like what was when because there was a lot of time period where we haven't seen Godzilla. Like the closest thing we saw at that point after during the bombing was his eye, and then showing the way he was going. Then they show a battleship just destroyed.
Yeah.
And they were like, what was it? Was that a shark that did that?
A whale?
A whale? And he's like, there's no, that's too big.
I remember seeing that subtitle and just thinking, oh, bless your heart, kid. Bless your damn heart.
Yeah, and the veterans,
Shark.
they were like, there's no way. That's...
They all just looked at him.
And then the main character, he looked and he saw all the stuff in
The dead fit.
the dead.
So, real quick, they actually did a really good job driving home. Godzilla is a radioactive monster. That was a thing they kept commenting about. Wherever he went, there would be schools of dead fish just floating up at the surface, and they actually used Geiger counter buoys to tell when he was getting close to somewhere.
Yep. And then he also mentioned that there were a lot more fish that time than from when he saw it the previous. And then I still one of my favorite scenes is when he's chasing them because it reminded me of Jaws. And then like they throw the sea mine, doesn't do anything, and they're like in the mouth.
Get him in the mouth. Get him in the mouth.
And then it blows half his face off, and then he's just floating there. It regenerates, and he's like, all right, now I'm mad. Gets up.
He literally glared at them like he wasn't just an animal. He understood. These a-holes are trying to kill me.
And then I forgot what ship it was, but it was one of the Japanese battleships. It shows up, starts blasting, and hits Godzilla a couple of times. He climbs up into the ship, punches one of the guns.
Yeah, he actually like held onto it and started kicking the crap out of it.
Yeah, he comes up and he grabs onto it and starts pulling it down, and they turn their guns and just blast
him in the face, and then he's like, all right, you want to play that game?
But
goes underneath. Everyone's like, did we get him? Did we get him? And the first time we see his heat ray. The heat ray.
Fun side note real quick. In America, we always called it the atomic breath. In Japan, it's the heat ray. It is kind of interesting that they didn't change that in the subtitles. They kept calling it a heat ray.
Well, it's a Japanese movie.
I know, but I'm saying...
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Because they call him Godzilla.
Yeah.
And you could hear the Z when they were saying his name. They were calling him Godzilla. They weren't calling him Gojira.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, like everyone around the world calls him Godzilla, so they have to.
The funny part is Toho actually, from what I've heard, Toho likes that name. Because originally the character was called Gojira. Our dumbasses mispronounced it and thought, that's a lame name, actually. You know what sounds cool? Godzilla.
Godzilla. But yeah, then we see the heat ray for like the first time, and it just destroys this ship. And battleships aren't tiny;
no, that was a destroyer class.
Yeah, those motherfuckers are huge.
Yeah,
I keep dropping this. I keep trying to.
This was a big battleship that was coming in to investigate the American battleship that went missing, and they found, and Godzilla off-screened it. You only see the wreckage.
Yeah.
Godzilla chases the little minesweeper boat, which was a wooden boat, by the way, which it was very interesting because mines are magnetic, so...
They had to use a wooden boat for it.
The big magnetic battleships would get the mines coming toward them, so they had to be wooden.
Yeah, and the funny part is when he told her about the job, she wasn't happy about it. And he said, it's a ship. It's designed to be able to withstand landmines.
Oh, yeah.
It's a military job. They know what they're doing. He what was it?
Specially made.
Yeah, specially made. And then she's like, okay. And then tells him to come back alive. He shows up at the docks and he sees this wooden, like, fisherman boat.
Yeah, and he literally was like, this was specially made.
And then the engineer guy, like, comes out, tells him, and then he's like, oh, so that's why it's made out of wood. Like, he got it right away.
Yeah. But I love that. That was such a well done cutaway. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's specially made. It'll be okay. All right, but you have to. I'm ordering you to not die. It's like, okay, I will. Next, instantaneously.
In
This
my
is
mind, he's
specially
dying.
made.
That's what I thought. He's dying.
I can throw up it's the most famous picture from the movie.
It's the image that yeah.
Should I throw it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
If you know the movie,
If you've seen the trailer, you've seen this clip, this image.
or even if you've not seen the trailer, this is the image for the movie.
Yeah.
Give me a second to throw it up. But
Yeah.
this is what we're talking about.
And then but like on the ship, like you can tell that he's still working through some issues.
Oh yeah.
Cause the kid, I forgot what he said, but he tells him no, you don't, and like he did it in an aggressive way.
I remember what I can tell you what he said.
Kid said, "There it is.
This is the shot.
That little boat, that rinky-dink bath toy was specially made
Because it was made out of
Military
wood.
grade.
Military grade,
And they
government approved.
And they explained it, like, because of the metal, the mines would be attracted to the metal.
So it has to be made of wood. Yeah, I get it. But still, it's like, man, is there anything better to describe government mandated, government made than a rinky-dink wooden boat trying to square up to motherfucking Godzilla?
And they mentioned that too. They were like, "We're here to buy time," and he's like, "What? We're here to buy time?" And he's like, "On this thing."
Well,
Yeah,
you're not gonna beat him.
And they managed.
What's funny is that
They made it out.
And they did more damage to him than the battleship, the destroyer class did.
Yeah, because they drop a couple mines and he actually bites one.
Well, one of them he had it in
blow
his
off
mouth.
half his head.
Yeah, like one blew up outside his head, like,
On his back,
on
I
his
think
back.
it was.
Yeah.
and the other one was in his mouth, and he was just like chilling it, like leaving it in there, like
Yes.
like a jawbreaker.
Yes, Mr. Bishop, you will need a bigger boat. You will need a much bigger boat.
Oh,
This is a big freaking iteration of Godzilla.
oh yeah.
But anyway, he actually they actually make it back. I was surprised by that.
Yeah,
After
they
he passes out, like he passed.
Oh
out.
yeah, he fainted.
Yeah, 'cause
Koichi fainted.
The explosion breaks Kid's arm. Koichi hits his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, they barely make it out of this.
Yeah, like the boat was damaged. Like
Boat was damaged.
The battleship comes in.
no, they
And-
airlifted. The battleship comes in. Battleship gets destroyed.
Yeah,
they had to
they
get airlifted out.
They had to be
Yeah.
airlifted out. They didn't even still have the goddamn boat. But
And then when he's in the hospital, like they're like his coworkers are there, and mind you, this is after they talk to him like, "You're a family. This is how it should be. Like you guys are raising her together. You guys are living together." He's like, "That's not what I want." She had started making steps to be able to go on her own.
Yep.
She had got
got
a job, babysitter for the kid.
Auntie, I love you, Auntie.
They're in the hospital, and he's asking where she's at. He's asking where she's at, and the kid, and they're like, "They're not here." And he like you could tell he was upset about that, but like at the same time, like
I'm sorry, kid. It's what you asked. Sorry, Koichi. It's what you asked for.
yeah,
You literally said that with them in the room that you didn't want to be a family. So
And that was also part of his survivor's guilt for...
Yeah.
yeah,
and then once he starts coming to terms with it, because like after Godzilla shows up, there's no year skip, there's no nothing. It's within a few weeks, few months.
yeah.
He finally gets to like go to the hospital. He shows up, and then he finally opens up to her, and they start acting more as a couple. And then Godzilla shows up.
Mm-hmm. The second battle with Godzilla is in
Started with a
Ganzi?
G.
Genzi?
Ginzy.
Yeah, it was-
Is Genzi a real city?
See, I was actually going to look that up and get...
Because you mentioned that you hadn't heard of that city before.
I have never heard of Ginzy.
This is such a mess of a review, but I'm actually still having fun.
See, when I saw the movie, it jumps from late war, Ginzy Town Travel, and then it says December 1945, and it just opens up on a destroyed village.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is Nagasaki or Hiroshima. But
I don't
it
think
wasn't.
they said the village that he lives in.
I
It
don't
was-
think they did.
if it may have been in the subtitles really quick and I might have missed it. But anyway, so the second big Godzilla scene is in Genzi.
And he's towering over the
Ginza.
buildings.
Genza.
Yeah, he's towering over the buildings. They're going over the radio. He's at home with the kid. Here's what's going on, and then it cuts to the city.
Yeah.
Um,
By the way, real quick, one of the first things that Godzilla does when he gets into the city was a really cool homage to the original Gojira, with just for no reason he just bites onto a train and just picks it up and starts shaking it.
Yeah, and that's where the main female lead is at too.
Yeah, of course the girl is on that train,
And
but
what's
no,
funny
that
is, like,
was
before she's like, I'm pretty sure I was meant to live. If I have to, like, I'm gonna do what it takes to survive. And I'm like, she's about to die.
the second they mention that they don't want to die, that's when the character dies. But anyway, no, that was like an awesome homage scene because, of course, as you can imagine, the original scene was basically done with a sock puppet, pretty much. You know, holding a toy train itself. And this scene was so visceral and detailed. And this is something that really we need to bring up for the whole movie. The detail in the destruction.
Oh yeah.
Like, you could see individual brickwork. There was dust and there was smoke, of course, but, like, it wasn't used to hide shit like in a certain movie that maybe we'll talk about if my blood pressure can take it later. But no, like, I'm dead serious because everyone talks about how some of the greatest destruction effects we've ever seen was pod racing from Phantom Menace.
Yeah, like crashing and stuff.
The crash scenes, yeah. I've heard people say over and over again that's some of the greatest destruction physics we've seen in a movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. Godzilla -1 makes Phantom Menace its bitch.
Oh, dude. Like when the train's falling apart after he picks it up, like you see the people sliding down. Somehow she's able to stay up there.
Well, she was braced kind of against a wedge.
Yeah,
But-
and then like the train just like, and then you just see everyone go.
Yep, all the people start falling out of it. It's like he's incorrectly shaking a Pringles can.
My favorite scene from that is the dude's narrating over the radio.
Oh.
He destroys the cinema. He's like, our beloved cinema. And
yeah,
then
the news crew.
Yeah, and then he walks right next to him and like
He swipes his tail.
they're on top of a really high building. And they just see the top of his head. And they're like, the monster's coming towards us. No, I think he was above them too. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
the
they
head
were
was
looking
right
down
there.
at
Like,
it.
the head was like...
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still above him.
Yeah,
and then he turns, half the building comes down. And they're still hanging on, and like you just see them go...
From there, yeah, the camera angle is with them as you see the ground coming up very aggressively.
And then like every time he takes a step, like
There's
the roads,
rubble and dust.
the roads pop up, and then later on when he was in that farming town, he stepped on a building, and like you could see two people like running from the building,
And they get overtaken.
and they
I
get
saw-
overtaken by like the rubble of what's left of the
Did you
building.
hear the dogs?
I didn't actually.
There's in the farming scene. We'll get to it later, but yeah, no. I heard dogs barking and then abruptly not barking.
I heard the yelp at the farm.
Yes, at
And
the
there-
I
farm
didn't
scene.
hear that.
Yeah, a dog yelps and then it was silent.
Yeah.
Also, the cinematography in this was amazing.
Oh yeah.
The cameras were still. It wasn't crap ass shaky cam.
No, it wasn't that like
Yeah, it wasn't shaky.
Oh,
but
hi, Sean.
There was like camera movements that were so.
Our resident Lord of
Cool.
Chaos forgot that it's Wednesday.
Of course.
But yeah, no, the cinematography, and this is more your realm.
The one thing I did like was the dog when he was taking photos. Like they had the old school camera.
Oh yeah, the actual equipment and stuff the clothes they were wearing, everything. From what I've seen, spoiler warning, I'm not that fucking old, so I wasn't there, but it looked accurate to the time, which is funny because a few days ago I was watching a show and they're talking about Stranger Things on Netflix.
What was
And
what were
Netflix,
we
and I
watching?
swear to God, they cannot It's funny because if you just watch Stranger Things, it seems fine, right? No, you Netflix. everything is wrong.
Oh,
Every date, everything every product placement, every reference to pop culture in Stranger Things is wrong.
Yeah,
Well, look at it this way. The night sky in Ted when he makes the wish, that's the night sky for the date that they used in the movie. That was the night sky that was there. The night sky in Titanic, nope.
Huh. See, this would be more my dad. As far as I can tell, the ships, the battleships, the Japanese and the U.S. and the planes were accurate.
Oh yeah, actually no, we were talking about this after the movie. At the beginning of the film, Kashi has a armband on.
That's right.
But it's just a white band with a red circle. Now, isn't that
That's the
Mr.
modern-
Bishop, I think you could help me out here. Isn't the modern Japanese flag just the white with the red? Wasn't Imperial Japan the sun that had like the red streaks coming off of it?
I think that's the battle flag. Hold on, because yeah, we did talk about it. The Navy and sign of Japan is the Japanese flag. What was that?
That was me.
Oh,
You sounded like a door?
that sounded.
That was a burp. Leave me alone.
I heard a door, bro.
That was a loud
And that was a
boom.
slam outside.
That was a loud boom out there.
Unless you can make your burp sound like a door being slammed, a car door slamming, and a door closing, you are in the wrong field, my good sir. You should be on a stage with a puppet.
Yeah.
Well, I've been taught I'm pretty good with voices.
Yeah. Hold on.
I love doing that voice because it makes his blood pressure spike every damn time. Your face.
I hate that character so much. Not only did he torture and torment one of my D&D characters,
He got like 2 or 3 of yours killed.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have to tell the story of that D&D campaign.
We never finished that campaign.
That was the battle flag, the rising sun.
Yeah, that's the battle flag, and it's still used.
It's still used.
At present, the flag is flown by the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. The flag is controversial in Korea, China, Russia, and with Allied World War II veterans. It is sometimes associated with war crimes, but it is still used.
Yeah,
and yes, that's
so
the battle
is the
flag.
Iron Cross, but the Iron Cross has been in use for a long time.
Well, to be fair, the Iron Cross was also pre...
Those who shall not be named.
Yeah, that thing. Well, no, my question was it accurate that he would have just a white band with the red circle? Was that...
Probably.
The white band with the red circle is the Japanese flag.
Okay.
However, for the uniform, I don't know if that's...
It also depends on.
Well, he was a soldier. Would he have had? Wouldn't he have had the battle flag?
It depends, like what unit he was in, what battalion, like all that stuff. Like most are different.
White with red is the national flag.
Yes, the white with the red sun is the national. And
So
according to this, that's a Navy. He wasn't...
He was Air Force.
He was Air Force.
So
he would he would probably have the white with red.
At the very least, he wouldn't have had that one. Okay. Anyway, where were we? We were Genza.
I was talking about the
Cinematography.
which was, I really liked the camera movement. It wasn't shaky camera, but they actually turned the camera in ways to show something, and then it would pan up underneath Godzilla, and then go over here and stuff like that.
By the way, real quick, I'm gonna be mean and say this. If there is a 200 to 300 foot tall lizard, and he is moving this way, you do not also go this way. You go parallel to him.
Yeah, like when.
Why does no one do this?
Not just that, but when there were on the fucking train, the train stops because you see a train cart in the air flying, landing on top of you. Not on top of you, but in front of you.
Right in front of them.
So she then stops, turns around, and says, "Godzilla?" And I'm going to be saying Godzilla like that for the rest of the fucking night. You can blame Austin Powers for that. They just stay in the cart. I would have gone out and dipped.
Goodbye. I'll remember you all fondly.
Mind you, I can't run that far or that long.
But you can run to the left or to the right.
At least far enough to where I won't get crushed when he decides to walk through the bridge. And I'm not going in the same direction he's going in. But at some point, when he does the freaking heat ray again, I ain't no going nowhere for that.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Bishop is saying that, yeah, a lot of them did just wear the flag. Okay. I wasn't sure about that. Because everything else in this movie was, like, spot on.
It's like,
I think the tanks might have been spot on, but I'm not too sure.
A good way to describe it is it's like the Confederacy battle flag. That's not the Confederacy's flag. Everybody thinks it is. That's just the battle flag.
Yeah, well...
That aside.
But anyway...
I don't know about the tanks. The tanks that blast Godzilla...
I'm not sure if those were very accurate.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But I like how everyone stopped, looked...
And just watched.
And watched. I'm like, no, that's when you keep running, when the thing's distracted by something else. And then heat ray again.
Yeah, oh yeah. The big thing in the trailer is you see his spikes pop up.
Yeah, so, okay.
That was cool.
So, Godzilla's always needed to charge up his attack, whether you call it the atomic breath or heat ray, whichever. He's always needed to charge it up. This is a very interesting charge up, and it's probably the most intimidating.
Because it starts off from the back, and like the spikes, they're tucked in.
They start to glow.
They glow and then pop out
one by one.
And and it goes up all the way to the top, and then like you can see it in his mouth, and just pew.
And this is another thing about the cinematography. You start like on his tail, just pop, glow, pop, pop, and the camera just pans up to his face as it gets up his back, and then his mouth opens and just
you can see
boom.
It looks very. This will sound like it's an insult, but it's not. I mean this is a compliment. It's very anime-ish, because you can literally see energy being pulled into his mouth. He is inhaling to power up this attack.
It's the best way to describe it is like Goku letting Frieza get to 100% power.
I'm not joking. It actually did make me think of the Kamehameha wave.
See, I have a question. When you get to your theories, I have a question about this. Remind me.
I will.
But
yeah, we're going to be talking about theories when we get to the end.
But yeah, this is a great scene. If you watch the trailer, I think it's trailer 2, you can see like a third of this, just his tail, boom, 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 and he glows. You don't see the whole full shot of just panning up his body and then boom.
Yeah.
But yeah, his heat ray is
and for the record,
this
has to be the most powerful
mushroom cloud that he made.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Yeah, what now?"
He actually everyone watching this thinks he's being funny. No, he literally gluttony. Godzilla literally uses the heat ray. It causes a mushroom cloud, and he literally stands there watching, like he's waiting to see if anybody is going to shoot at him again. Like,
yeah, and then he roars, and he's like, "What?"
He literally is like, "What now, son?"
But like when that happens, the main character, he's just like, he's frozen because he just sees it, and then the main female MC grabs him and throws him down an alleyway, and then you see her go back,
just get
forward,
flying,
and then like straight back.
Yeah,
because
there's like
a vacuum, like everything gets sucked out.
Yeah.
Sucked back in, and then just boom.
It was so incredibly done, and so. This is gonna sound weird. It was so over the top, so intense, but it was done so well. Like, I'm gonna help me. I might have a blood pressure spike. The Jagoffs at Legendary would never be able to do a scene that well.
Yeah, not even close.
No.
Not a chance. They would not be able to at all simultaneously make it be dialed up to 11, but also it still was so well crafted and so well done that you didn't question the fact that Godzilla literally just went Hiroshima with his breath weapon.
Oh yeah.
It felt like it made complete sense. Because that's something people love to talk shit about with the Godzilla films. They're so ridiculous and so over the top. Yes, they are. I will agree with that.
But like with this, like he is a walking disaster, and it shows. Like there is no hiding that.
Yeah, and
because like after that attack, they started throwing like the casualties, how many people were hurt, estimated buildings destroyed,
20,000 buildings destroyed, 30,000 people dead and injured. I think is what they said.
Yeah,
because that was the part that blew my mind. Wait, more people were hurt than buildings?
And then afterwards, like a good chunk of the like where he used his heat ray was like quarantine off, and you could see people in there like
it was
with hazmat suits, and then
they had the Geiger counters. They were measuring the radiation,
and like it was spiking.
And this is we'll talk about this later. This is a big spoiler for the end, but they did mention radiation several times.
Over and over. Yeah, they kept driving home. This is a radioactive monster.
Yeah, but back to Legendary. If Legendary did this cool scene that I was telling where it just slowly pans up its tail, Legendary would have been shaky cam, clip, clip, cut, 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 pop, pop,
flare.
pop.
There'd be lens flares.
Digital lens flares. It would be at night. You couldn't really see anything except blue, maybe pop, 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 and then Godzilla opens his mouth, boom. He's enshrouded in smoke. He can't see anything, and then...
Yeah.
Then our main characters that nobody cares about would just be like, "Oh my gosh!" Ah!
Yeah, telling you how scared they are. Whereas in this movie, I want to point something out.
You care about the humans.
Yeah, they actually make you care. But no, I want to point something out. This scene where the girl throws him into the alley and saves his life, they literally said nothing.
Like, there was nothing said. She just did it. And
no, she literally said his name because she realized who he was. And they started running, and they turned around and looked because they could hear Godzilla's beam charging up.
No, I think he said run.
Did he say something?
I think he called her out. She realized, said his name, and then they started running together.
It was literally one of those things where it's like...
You don't need to say anything.
One of us is dead. We only have a few seconds to act.
Yeah.
And she's the one that acted.
Yeah, she pushed him into the alley, and she's just blown away.
Yeah.
She doesn't get hit by the beam, no, but
when
it explodes...
the shockwave that hit her.
The shockwave blasts her away.
I will admit there was a small part of me that was kind of laughing because she literally was like Team Rocket style blown away. Her arms and legs spread out wide and just...
Oh. And it's like, when you see that, it's like, oh, dang.
Yeah, but again, there was nothing... They didn't say anything for a good 15, 30 seconds during that whole incident.
Yeah, and this is like right when he's like... Because before that, he was kind of spiraling. Because he was having nightmares of the night when he first saw Godzilla. He was questioning his reality.
If he's alive or if he's actually dead.
Or if they're even real, if they were just, if he's a dead man and they were just fragments, like his last dream that he had.
Yeah, there is like a really sad scene where he's like, maybe I'm dead, or we in hell, what's...
Yeah.
And like, he's on his floor crying, she's trying to comfort him, and...
I kept expecting the daughter to walk in on that scene.
Be honest with you,
because I was like, how else do you make this agonizing scene?
Because that house isn't that freaking big.
She was over at Auntie's, but because I was like, there's literally nothing more that they could do to make this scene gut-wrenching. And it was gut-wrenching. Yeah. I'm just going to... Look. I know every man has 10-pound testicles. I know men don't cry.
Bullshit. We just don't
This movie will make you not a man, okay? This movie will make you cry. And maybe this is
my eyes were sweating. They were working out.
There were little fey folk, and they're cutting onions.
Yeah, little kobolds. Little kobolds were cutting onions underneath your eyes, right? Is that what was happening? But
again, Anchorman, how dare you put this water in my eye?
Exactly. But no, and maybe this is from a military perspective. You know, maybe some people wouldn't get it. I do. It was absolutely gut-wrenching to watch him go through that. And I was mad because I was like, this is a fucking movie about a radioactive giant lizard. What the hell, Toho, are you doing making me, first of all, give a shit about these little pissant humans? And then you have the audacity to make me cry?
Yeah, they did not withhold anything about that time period. I mean,
Yeah.
Like even afterwards, like some of the like ex-military higher ups, they mentioned like how they should have did certain things differently.
That's actually the next big scene because it turns out, even though an entire city has been leveled, remember this number: 30,000 people have been confirmed killed.
The U.S. won't act.
The U.S. won't act
Because
and
of-
the newly formed Japanese government won't assist either.
Yeah, the U.S. doesn't want to act because they don't want to start. Because I think around the time that's when we were going,
The Soviet.
we were messing with the Soviets.
yeah, that's something I'll talk about a little bit later. I know like history about that.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want to act. Japan was like,
Japan couldn't act because it didn't have a military at the time.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really have much of a government.
Yeah.
The U.S. was basically their government.
The occupying, it was
So-
occupying forces.
So during the funeral ceremony, like after everyone leaves, he starts to kind of spiral again, because he has the photos of like everyone from the military for the little small military camp that was on that island. He has photos of everyone that passed away. The dog goes up to him, looks at it, sees the photos, and he asks him if like they're tells him that there's a plan, that they're gonna group up and make and show a plan, and he's like, "Are you in?" And he's like, "Yep."
Absolutely. And this is a theory. This is where we get to one of my theories. And I'm going to talk about it here.
The one that I have is towards the end.
Well, because they make this big point about how the government can't help them. America's not going to help them. They have forces that may be wanting them to be destroyed, like the Soviet.
Yeah.
And literally the only thing that can save them is themselves.
Yeah, it's
Now, my personal theory, because everyone talks about Godzilla being a metaphor. Godzilla's a metaphor for natural disasters, the arrogance and hubris of humanity, nuclear devastation. I think, and this is hot take number 1 for me, so keep track, kiddies. I think in this film, Godzilla was a metaphor for the Empire.
Imperial Japan. Yeah.
Imperial Japan. I think that it was, because, I mean, even look at the thing. It's this bloated, massive, hideous thing that, not even intentionally, everything around it dies.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, it's actually malevolent and attacks things. It's not like the TriStar Godzilla from '98, where he's accidentally knocking over buildings and shit. No. Godzilla looks at this tiny little insignificant human and decides to fucking step on it.
Yeah, he decides to bite the train scene you were talking
Oh
about.
yeah.
The train stops and he
not
just
that,
bites.
but like he intentionally started chasing that boat too.
Yeah, I think this iteration of Godzilla was a metaphor to Imperial Japan and how, no, it was a destructive force of evil.
Yeah, that got the country destroyed.
Yeah.
All the war crimes they committed.
We were talking about that just about a month or so ago with Dr. Ishii.
And then, because like one of the general ex-retired generals makes a quote, because after someone says, "Are we going to be forced to die? Is this going to be another suicide mission?" He's like, "Look, we're not in the military anymore. I can't tell you to do this. You are free to go if you want to, or you can help."
And then there's just that it's a wonderful scene, but it's also kind of sad, but understandable. It's all the guys, and like some of them just one by one
They start walking
leave.
away.
They walk away.
And it's
And
like,
then
yeah,
the night before, the Godzilla, the night before they start the operation and everything, the dog tells everyone spend the rest of the night with your families, and then everyone thinks that they're gonna die. He's like, "Look, we want our knowledge that we shouldn't have done things. We should have had our tanks better armored. We should have had
food supply better.
food supply chains better."
The Empire was
50%. 50% of the Japanese soldiers who died in World War II died from sickness and malnutrition.
Yep.
They weren't even killed by enemies. They were killed, essentially, by the Empire.
Yeah, and then he said that the fighter jets should have had eject seats.
the kamikaze
Guys,
pilots
pilots
shouldn't
Shouldn't
have
have
been
been-
the suicide charge, He said that we've not valued life for a long time.
Yeah.
This is going to be different. Spend the time with your families. Tomorrow we start the operation and we all come back. I don't want anyone to die.
Yeah.
And then that's when
And
they all leave.
That kind of leans into my point. They beat Godzilla, this metaphor for Imperial Japan, by saying we're not going to do that. We're not going to. The answer is not going to be you have to sacrifice more. The answer is going to be we are going to knuckle up and fight this hideous, grotesque monstrosity.
Yeah.
And then when they're leaving that's when Kid says that he's ready for the day after. And that's when the captain and Dog tell him, like, you're not coming with.
No.
You can't help with that busted arm. You can't come. And then that's when he says, is it because I'm not a veteran like everyone else?
And they get mad at him. They get in his face like,
It's a good thing that you haven't gone to war.
it's a good thing you're not a veteran. It's a good thing that you can still say you're a civilian.
And then they begin to walk away, and he's like, let me come with you. Please take me. And he's screaming at them.
Yeah, he's screaming at them, please, let me go. He's breaking down in tears.
Yeah, and as they're walking away, the captain says, no, the future is in your hands.
Yeah, that's one of two scenes I really want to talk about with Kid.
I love that little bastard.
That
I
dude was
liked
funny
him
as shit.
so. He was
like-
funny.
Because he wants to be part. He wants to fight for his country. He wants to help his people.
Yeah,
But the way he's going about it is, you don't have to sacrifice in order to be helped. If it comes to that, yes, that's a way you can do it. But that should be the last resort.
Yeah,
Well, you know what he, in my opinion, he represented the people during the war. He thought the empire was a good thing. He thought the empire was right. No, it's a good thing to go and you're not throwing your life away. You're sacrificing it for your country, for your empire, right? That's a good thing, isn't it?
But I also want to point out it was not unpatriotic to the country. I felt it was actually a really patriotic movie.
It was.
Not to Imperial Japan, but to
Japan,
the people.
Really.
Like,
Well, there are
the
people
collective people.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things this movie did really well is that it kind of did draw a line in the sand between the government
And the
Imperial
people.
Japan.
and the Japanese.
Yeah.
And because, like, at one point, like, everyone who walked away, they show back up to help.
They did, yep.
And I'm pretty sure Kid went around grabbing everybody.
With his one arm. I liked that little bastard's gumption.
And
But-
because, like, he shows up and they're happy he's there to help out. But, like, when they realize that he's doing the atomic breath, he's like, oh.
Well, yeah, so...
I mean, the heat ray.
Heat ray. So, also, this is a really cool thing, and this ties into a theory that I have that I need to talk about it later on in the movie. So, their plan was that they were going to give Godzilla the bends. Now, for some people, they don't know what that is. The ocean has different levels of pressure in it. Depending on what depth you are, you have more or less pressure on you. Basically, what happens is if you
Hold on. Y'all remember that submarine that was horribly made and people went down with the millionaires? That.
So basically, if you go down too fast, the pressure can instantaneously crush you like a soda can, as he mentioned.
As that submarine, there ain't nothing left of them people. There were puddles. It was red mist in the ocean. They fed the fishies.
In reverse, you are a horrible person. In the other direction,
about them people? I never knew them.
rising up too fast can cause air bubbles to form in your blood vessels, which... Oi!
You saw that.
Which is a agonizing thing to go through, by the way. And yes, the bends can actually kill you. Now, what's interesting is that in the original Gojira, or Godzilla King of the Monsters if you're American, they used a device called the Oxygen Destroyer, which, and I'm going to be super simple about this, it basically destroyed the oxygen molecules in everything around it, basically destabilizing your molecular structure. That's how they killed Godzilla in the original film. In this one, they used Freon. Freon 2 capsules that would force Godzilla to instantaneously sink super, super deep, hoping that his body wouldn't have time to adjust for the pressure and he would be given the soda can treatment.
Yeah.
And if that didn't work, they would also deploy these big inflatable balloons that would immediately pull him back up to the surface, hopefully giving him the bends.
Yeah, they just wanted to pull him down fast,
and
hopefully
then
crush him, and if that didn't work,
pull him up
shoot
fast.
him up so fast where he just got the
then,
bends.
yeah, when they did that too, like you could see him like just like.
And the music stopped because he's going down.
And like the depth that they calculated, he would have to go. Like they did that, and they passed it.
And
it didn't work. And they're like, "All right, bring him back up."
And he was actually fighting it.
And
he was staying. He was staying.
I think no, it's when he got to they got to like around 800. He cut the cable for the balloons, because he saw it. He's like, nope, fuck you guys.
I'm staying right down here.
So then they like, fuck it, we'll tow his ass up. What's left?
We'll force him up.
And then because he was forcing his way back down. Then they start driving. They're like. Like he mentioned, like the boats don't have enough power, like horsepower to
pull them up.
To pull them up, and they're like, the captain's like, doesn't matter, we still need to do it.
Shoot the engines if you have to. We have to get that lizard immediately up through the water levels.
And then that's when the kid comes up with
came
all
back.
the boats, and then they hook up and they just pull
with
their
dozens of tugboats. Real quick, I want to say something real quick. That scene where because they filmed it really cleverly, because you think it's just Kid with one boat, and they actually pan it and it's this sweeping fleet.
Yeah, it's like a
dozens and dozens of these little civilian ships.
And then you got people going over the radio like, hey, this is so and so, this is so and so, this is
I'm here, yeah.
And it's a bunch of little tugs and dinghies, and they hook up to these big battleships.
And they start pulling him in two different directions, like they were trying to draw and quarter him almost.
They pull him up, and like you can see the damage that he took.
Yeah.
Because like there's like white spots all over his body.
His scales are like flaking and cracking.
Yeah, Godzilla's hurt bad. He's alive.
The other thing too is like
mad.
his healing factor. Like he has it, but I don't think it fixes 100%. Because like if you look at it and
he still had that Joker scar
from when he got that part of his face blown off.
Yeah.
Like it's the tissue worked back, but it's still there. And then when he uses his heat ray, like you can see the burn marks and stuff.
I noticed that too. Yeah, after he uses his heat breath, it damages him. It hurts him to cause that much power.
Which is going to come back to a theory that I have, but we need to finish the movie first.
Which they like the dog calculated that, and like he needs time to recharge to do that. And then we go back to the MC, because like after she passed away, like he realized that the boats weren't going to be fast enough and agile enough to be able to maneuver with Godzilla. Godzilla.
My dad said he lost us. It's on his end. We're good.
It looks like we're okay. Excellent connection. Hold on a second. Chat, can we get somebody comment? Let us know that we're still alive out here. You're back.
Oh, yeah, it was my dad's end. Never mind.
Okay, it was on his end. Anyway.
Okay.
So, real quick, I want to address this. So, Koshi, he was a fighter pilot. And, well, this was demilitarized Japan. They didn't have any fighter planes that he could use, except for one prototype. What did they call it?
I don't remember, to be honest.
But I don't know about this plane.
You know what sucks is I recognized the name and I was like, oh, that's a real thing.
Oh, I should have asked one of my buddies. He loves freaking World War military planes and whatnot.
Yeah, no.
Kyushu J7W Shinden.
Shinden. Yeah, Shinden was a real prototype plane, at least from what I've understood.
According to this, number built 2.
2 of them, yeah.
Only 2 of these were ever built.
Yep, they were one of Japan's first attempts at the jet engine. And one of the big reasons that these planes never made it past the prototype point, and this goes back to my whole thing about Godzilla is a metaphor to Imperial Japan. These planes never got past the prototype phase, at least from what I had heard, because they were specifically designed to have an ejector seat. and that was considered too costly, too unnecessary. The Empire didn't care. The Empire didn't want it.
Yeah, they didn't care about life.
No,
Yeah.
they did not.
A contrast, the U.S., we cared about life. I mean, pretty much everybody seemed to, well, our own life anyway.
Our own lives.
Yeah. But they take him to the plane. It's not running. They need to find a mechanic. He remembers the mechanic that was
Takabana.
I think they were friends before like everything happened.
See, they acted like they
yeah.
knew each other.
Yeah.
So.
So no one knows where Takabana's at. But he got a list of previous places he was deployed at. So he starts writing letters and sends them to him. Well, he finally shows up, hits him in the back of the head, and starts beating his ass after he ties him up in the house. Because the letters he sent, he said that it was his fault that everyone died.
Yeah, Kochi literally antagonized Takabana because he knew Taki wouldn't come out of hiding.
Yeah. And
by the way, real quick, from Taki's point, if you had been what he went through, and then this little bastard
sent you the shit out of him. Because like at that, like what, like
Takibana did nothing wrong.
And yeah, you'll find it quickly explains why he beat him.
Oh yeah,
because like he didn't blame him for what happened. Like it happened. Like you froze up.
But you need to take responsibility for it.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you have to kill yourself and sacrifice yourself in order to honor them. He helped him fix the jet because like the war isn't over for him. He's still
that's a phrase that they say multiple times. The war isn't over, which goes back to
PTSD. A lot of soldiers,
and again, it goes to my theory that Godzilla is a metaphor to Imperial Japan. Because when did the war end? When the Empire crumbled. When the Empire was disbanded.
Yeah, but for the men.
For them, yeah, but I'm saying.
Yeah.
The war can't end for them because in the metaphor they haven't gotten past the Empire.
Yeah.
Which is in this metaphor Godzilla.
So he gets the plane ready for him. He gets the bomb that he wanted into the plane. He had to take out one of the guns to get the bomb in there.
One of the engines.
And one of the engines and some of his fuel.
Yeah, to put it in there so that way it would fit and no one would suspect the bomb being there because he didn't want everyone else to know.
Because he knew they would stop him.
Yeah. Because even when they were leaving, like the captain and the doc, they were worried about him flying. They didn't want him to fly to distract Godzilla because they knew he's ex-kamikaze pilot. They know that he didn't want to, but lost the lady that he loved.
Has seen this monster destroy things twice over.
Yeah, and they knew that he would do it if he had to. So the night before he leaves, like he's spending time with his daughter. She drew a little a kid painting of him, mom, and her.
Gut-wrenching scene number 17, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
My God, this movie.
And then
this movie took every opportunity.
When she falls, because she starts crying because she misses her
She
mom.
knows. Well, I think she knows.
She knew. She probably knew. Kids catch up on things like.
Well, no, I think she knew that they were going to fight Godzilla tomorrow, and she knew.
Dad's
what happened?
Not coming back. So she starts crying. He comforts her, gets her to bed, and when she falls asleep, he leaves an envelope right next to her, and then Auntie lives right next to him. They're like neighbors. Gets to where the plane's at. He takes off, and then as he's taking off, Auntie steps out of the house, sees the little girl there, walks up to her, asks her where her dad's at. She gives her the envelope, and she's like, "Fuck."
Because it's a goodbye letter, and it's full of money
and a note, and it's like,
take care of her.
Yeah, take care of the kid.
And then she's in their house. Then they get a telegram. They don't show what the telegram is, but when when Toshi's in the plane, if I'm saying his name.
Koshi, I think.
Koshi. Koichi's in the
excuse me.
plane. The mechanic tells him like pull this lever to arm the bomb, and then it pans away, and then it shows that he's telling them something else.
Yeah, you can see him like gesturing to something else in the cockpit.
And
Yeah,
then,
in the back, right behind his seat.
yeah,
I caught that in the movie. It's such a subtle detail.
yeah.
But
like,
Yeah.
But if you're paying, the movie freaking gets your attention. Like if you
Oh,
pay attention,
God,
you
yeah.
see it.
Yeah, the cinematography is amazing. It'll like distract you
It was
just
almost
enough.
I'd almost argue it was too good because like it was really, really obvious that he was like, pull this to arm the bomb, and then it pans away, and you can see him. He's like gesturing behind Koichi's head. It's like, well,
Yeah, and as it like comes out into the hangar,
Like
yeah, if
you
you look,
can see he's telling them something, but we can't hear what it is because it panned out.
you can't hear
Yeah.
it, but you can see that he's gesturing.
But then, like, he takes off. He's, like, checking the plane, making sure it's all working good. I dropped one of the blankets. And then, takes off. And, like, I like the design of that plane, how it looked. He finds Godzilla, and starts to poke the nest.
Yep, he starts shooting at it.
And then, he starts Godzilla starts chasing, starts chasing after him.
this is also when the two battleships.
I think
No, there was four. There were four.
There were four of them.
And
one of them, they set it up perfectly. Like, you would think there were people in there, but like it starts going and then it pans into the inside. They had tied rope to the
steering wheel.
And everything. There's no one in that shit. That thing's moving on its
Which,
own.
by the way, I want to point something out real quick. And this again goes back to my metaphor that Godzilla is Imperial Japan. They dupe Godzilla because he thinks that the people are in that ship that's coming at him.
yeah,
He uses up his heat ray.
yeah, he
Yeah.
sees the ships coming and he blasts.
Yeah.
And then
They
right before
tricked him because he thought that if they had been playing by the rules of engagement for Imperial Japan, he would have hit and took out half their ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they tricked him because they weren't fighting like that. He wasted his one shot basically blowing up two oversized bathtubs.
And then everyone's like, "Oh no, we need to leave." And he's like, "No, this is the best time to do it."
Get him!
Ahead. And then when Godzilla comes back up, like he's getting ready to charge up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just comes
And he
in.
is like brimming with power. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
is like the energy is seeping out of his scars and his cracks.
And then,
That blast was going to be even bigger than what we had seen before.
yeah. And then he just comes in.
Koichi comes in.
He
and
comes in, Godzilla.
Boom! Right. It
And
was
then
so.
boom!
It was so abrupt and it almost looked like a cutaway. It didn't look like they animated the jet crashing into his mouth. It literally looks like it was just one frame,
Bam.
cut to another, and it was so cool because that abruptness illustrated just how much force.
Oh yeah.
That's something this movie does really well. Is it emphasizes how much energy and force is being exchanged in Godzilla's attacks and these cannons and all this stuff. There is an almost, and this is going to sound corny, and I'm going to do it anyway. There's almost an artistic touch to how they display just how much weight there is in Godzilla's steps, how much power the heat ray has,
how much power the battleships have.
Yeah, the cannons, the recoil.
The size of him, is that's a thing too.
The scientific technical details of just power, weight, size, mass.
Yeah, this was not some movie where there was a freaking American jumping up and down on a couch telling you how cool a tank is when it fires. No, this is exactly how it looks when a cannon fires this much force. How it recoils and how there's a plume of smoke and everything was so much more. It was craftsmanship. It was craftsmanship. But anyway, and so everyone thinks that Koichi kamikaze
himself, ended his life subscription.
yeah, ended his subscription to life.
But he pulled the ejector seat in time, and then it cuts back to when he was telling him how to arm the bomb. He told him, "Look, do this, get this done, but live.
Come back.
That's the ejector seat.
And
Hold that. Come back.
It goes back to that scene where he was up in the corner, and it's like, yeah, live.
And then, because like
This is
when
ejector
he's getting
seat.
ready to head out, he has the photos of all the guys that died on that island. He has a photo of the drawing that the kid made, and then on the console he puts the photo of his wife,
His girl.
The girl, yeah.
and he has it right there.
Nori. Nori. Her name was Nori.
And then you just see Godzilla's head just blow up. Like, there's nothing there.
And
then
something I think is interesting, there was no blood. It was a big smoke cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And there's something I kind of liked about that. Because again, it didn't look like it was being gory or violent for that sake. It looked like an example of power.
Yeah. And then, like, the energy had to go somewhere, and then you just see it start sipping out of Godzilla.
He's like just there in the water headless, and he just crumbles apart.
He basically...
As the energy's just beaming out of him.
It looked like he kind of like he had hit critical mass, and he was having like a nuclear meltdown inside his body.
Yeah, and then it was almost like he like turned to stone or something. And
Yeah.
just, like, fell apart and just...
Now, I have a theory about that. I think that the reason he crumbled like that is because the energy stored inside him to use that blast, I think it kind of like dried him out in a weird way. Like from the inside out, it demoisturized him, and so he did crumble. Because all that energy, like you said, it had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It was just there in him, and because it couldn't be released, it dried him out.
Yeah.
You had
So it cuts back to, they pick him up, they go back to the island, they go back to Japan.
Auntie, I loved Auntie
shows
so
up.
much here.
That telegram she got, it was to let her know that, hey, she's alive.
Nori survived.
She's in the hospital. So she shows up with...
Hold on, but before Auntie gives Koichi the letter,
She shows up with the
just
baby and starts fucking smacking him.
It wasn't even like hard, like she was trying to break his jaw. It was like,
Dumbass, why?
You,
why would you
you.
do that? Why would you do a stupid decision? And
I loved her so much.
Then she hands over the kid and then gives him the telegram. He then reads it and he just takes off. But before Auntie did that, the kid sees him, hugs him, and tells him, "Thank you, you did it. You saved everybody." And then it cuts to the hospital. He sees her, goes up to her. They're crying. She asked him if his war was finally over. He said yes.
We'll address that in a minute. Right now, we're right at the end of the movie, Sean.
And then it cuts to them hugging each other, and then like on the back of her neck, there's like a black tendril, and it pulses, it moves.
It looks like a vein.
Yeah, and I have a theory about that.
I thought it was a burn, and then it twitches.
Yeah, but like her, like half her face is bandaged up, one of her arms is bandaged up. One of the things I told these guys afterwards was that I think because of the nuclear blast of the heat ray, her DNA might have been altered, and she might become I forgot the female monster
Mothra?
one.
Mothra? Or Violenta?
Violenta. I think she might become Violenta in one
that would be really cool.
Violenta, I didn't even freaking think of that. Shit.
I think she might become that in one of the later ones.
Oh.
Because right after that, it cuts back to like the husk of Godzilla, and it starts re-healing himself.
Yeah, the final scene of the movie is Godzilla's like
a part of
clumps
him.
of him are just falling down, and they like reform.
They're starting to regenerate and regrow.
And he's just becoming like this massive...
He looks like a bunch of tumors almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
my god, dude, my brain.
But I think that she, and maybe in one of the later ones,
Oh my god.
that she might become...
That would be so cool.
Oh, she's Violenta. Why did I not see that? Oh my... I need a moment.
You didn't say that after the movie.
Because I thought he was gonna react that way, and I knew it was gonna be good to catch it.
Biofragmentlenta. Oh my. That makes so much goddamn sense. Biolenta was the one who caused the Heisei era. Oh my.
Okay, that would actually be really cool if she becomes Biolenta.
And Biolenta was a human woman once.
Yeah,
She was. Oh.
So what's the story of Biolenta, real quick?
Okay,
From
Biolenta
Godzilla.
was a biohazardous kaiju. She was kind of what started the well, she wasn't the first film in the Heisei era, but she was created because of them effing around with Godzilla's genetics. And there was a woman, I can't remember what her real name was, but she mutated this gigantic flower that was basically a plant monster version of Godzilla, and they called her Biolenta. Biolenta had a huge battle with Godzilla, and originally, in the original version that they filmed, Biolenta would kill Godzilla, but they changed it and had it where Godzilla killed Biolenta. But when she was destroyed, she dispersed this pollen that contained Godzilla's DNA, and basically everybody else that shows up from there is a byproduct of her pollen. Space Godzilla, Megaguirus, Destroya, so on and so on. She was what caused, sort of, and I'm sure people would argue about this, but she was kind of the soft start to the Heisei era.
Hey, Barry,
Oh,
do me a
God.
favor. Her name, like in the movie,
Yeah.
look up the meaning of it.
Nori something.
Oh.
Nori.
Oh gosh.
God damn it. They called her Nori. But
Well,
wasn't.
I'm pretty sure they gave her a last name too.
Yeah, they gave her a full name.
Noriko.
Noriko.
Ishii.
Yeah, does that name mean something?
Let's see.
I'm hoping it means flower.
Oh my god. If it's some kind of flower, I am going to lose my shit. Oh, please tell me it's...
Alright, Noriko meaning law, rule, order, or origin. Japanese meaning law, rule, order, ceremony, child. If you feel... Okay, that's Noriko meaning.
Okay.
Noriko.
Noriko. Okay, so her name means law.
And Oishi means delicious, I think. Divine Rose.
Rose.
Yeah, Divine Rose.
Put them together.
The law of the divine rose. Biolenta rose up because Godzilla was an anomaly against nature and needed to be destroyed. Oh my lack of a god, she's Biolenta!
And that's how you shatter someone's mind.
Wow.
Her name literally translates to Law of the Divine Rose. It's fucking Biolenta! You know, there are times when you just gotta admit someone is the better man. I did not think of that at all.
Yeah, her first name means law, order. Her last name means Divine Rose.
She's Biolenta. She's gonna become Biolenta. The veins in my forehead are throbbing right now.
Now,
I am
I
having a moment.
don't think it because of how it ended. There's gonna be a sequel. I don't think she's gonna be the main villain in the next one. I think the next main villain is gonna be.
Okay, so I have a theory. So I was paying really close attention to Godzilla's design in this movie, and I noticed he had these super defined pecs. Like.
Alright, we're getting into your theory of what is actually going on with Godzilla.
Yeah. Okay, Godzilla, he has this weird marking between his pecs.
Yeah, like there was
That
like a
looked
red
like a cluster,
circle.
a red circle with like lines and marks here. That looked kind of like Destroya. Destroya has this mouth thing on his chest in about the same place. Destroya was created by the Oxygen Destroyer in the original Gojira. And Destroya had a specific disdain and hatred for life. He he was sentient and aware. By the way, the creature itself, Destroya, is actually Japan. Toho said it. They were like, we want a kaiju that looks like the devil, a creature who is just evil, and that's Destroya. Now, Destroya. First of all, yes, this is lore, Toho lore. Destroya's energy weapon, which is called the Annihilation Beam, is more powerful than Godzilla's atomic breath or heat ray. We've never seen a heat ray as powerful as this Godzilla's.
Yeah, Oh, Ginza, by the way, I never got to say it. Ginza is a part of Tokyo. So they were in Tokyo.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know
That was
that.
probably one of the districts.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's a major... right now, it's a big shopping district in Tokyo. Kind of like there's Denver and then there's like Glendale.
Downtown.
Yeah.
But anyway, now, another reason that I think this Godzilla... This won't make sense. I know. It'll sound crazy. Follow me for a second. I promise it'll make sense. This is not Godzilla. This is Destroya. And he's going to come back in another movie, but he's going to look more like Destroya because you could see how the meat was regrowing. It looked bloated and veiny and wrong. I don't think this is really Godzilla. That is Destroya. And he might come back in the next movie.
Because what I'm thinking is, because look at predators when they're young, they have a certain hunting ground. They stay within the hunting ground. When they start getting older, they start expanding and stuff. When Godzilla is shown, he's not fully grown. He's not as big as he is later on in the movie. I think he was out hunting around, and then leaves that area. But I think within that time period, because it was only within like maybe 2-3 years within the movie, for him to go from like around the Japan, the Pacific War area,
Oda Island. It was specifically Oda Island.
Yeah, Oda Island, all the way to where they were doing the testing, and he got that big that fast. No. And then to bounce off what he was saying, I think in the next one, he's going to be the main villain, because I think they're going to be able to they're going to treat that thing as a cancer, and it's going to become recess, I think.
Yeah, recessive.
Yeah, recessive, and then when stuff starts happening again, and all that nuclear energy starts coming around again, it's going to affect her to the where
she's going to start to change.
Yeah, and then the third, if there's a third one, which would be fucking awesome.
There better be, Toho.
It's made enough movie. It's definitely going to have a third one.
Law of the Divine Rose. Oh my god.
Where she becomes
Violenta.
So if it's a trilogy,
and I think it's gonna mess with him so much.
Oh, could you imagine? Oh,
he's a kamikaze pilot who's having trouble about the war. The woman he loves becomes Violenta. Which Violenta is my favorite. I love
Violenta's cool. I like Violenta.
And then
she does not get anywhere near enough credit.
If the movies continue as they are, where they're tackling certain issues that were going on in that time period and stuff like that, I'm thinking the next one's going to tackle whatever issues going around then, because there's going to be a time skip.
Yeah,
not very long though. I don't think
not
they
long.
have to.
But again, around that time, there was still plenty of wars going on.
Oh yeah, there was all kinds of trouble. There was
Korea War,
the Cold War, all that.
Cold War, Vietnam,
and all that stuff.
What time frame does Shin Godzilla take place in?
If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, Shin Godzilla is modern day.
Okay, so it wouldn't be a tie-in to Shin Godzilla. I've not seen.
I have a theory about that too, but we're talking about this mind-blowing. Oh my god, it's a trilogy. Now I think that the Godzilla we see on Oda Island is not the Godzilla that they've seen in the other parts of the movie.
See, that was my thing.
I think
because
I don't think they're the same.
No, Because again, a creature that size takes time to grow even larger, especially to the size that Godzilla is supposed to be. Within 2 years of him being able to get that big with a creature that large,
multiplying that many times in size, I'm not sure I got by that. But here's my theory: that lizard, that Godzilla from Oda Island's Godzilla,
Yeah, the little
is
one.
going to grow up, and the next movie is going to be that Godzilla,
The real
Godzilla versus Destroya,
which is the Godzilla
that we saw in this movie.
creepy.
The ugly, yeah.
See, I wouldn't call him ugly. He was just those eyes.
Hideous. I personally would say he was
I
hideous.
like those eyes. Those were like.
Those were really cool Predator's eyes. I give you that. Yeah.
And they didn't do anything weird like he's blinking constantly. It's like no, the eyes were like so well done. It's like looking into the eyes.
They didn't hide
just
it.
Like,
They didn't hide him.
and as he went through the water, it like would just show his eyes. Like the picture you see on screen now is just like it was so well done, so creepy.
Absolutely beautiful. But no, I am willing to die on this hill. That Godzilla, this guy, that's not Godzilla. This is Destroya. Or he's going to become Destroya.
Now, back to what I was saying earlier from Austin Powers. Godzilla. But not Godzilla because we don't have the rights, but still.
Godzilla. But yeah, no. So, wow, we have actually spent more than time just talking about the review of the movie.
It was a good movie to be honest.
It was
really
so
good
freaking
movie.
good.
So I have a question
But I
to
have-
propose to you.
You have a question, okay.
So we talked earlier about how it pans up his tail and his the frills on his back. I don't know where the thing is, but they just pop up.
Yeah, I kind of lost it to be honest with you.
They pop up one by one on his back, just and he starts glowing. It was almost mechanical, not organic.
No.
Could that be something? I'm not saying he's Mecha Godzilla.
I was gonna
But
say
it
he
was
couldn't be.
almost like-
He couldn't have been Mechagodzilla. We saw him broken apart.
Yeah, but it was like
There you go.
pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
Why would they specifically design him that way? Just to, and you can see this in the trailer if you look up the trailer.
My layman's opinion,
Just a
dramatic. I think it was
artistic.
dramatic effect to emphasize again. This is power building up.
Again, like it's also like it's a fictional creature. Like they can do whatever
It
the
looks
fuck they
freaking
want.
awesome.
Yeah,
And
But-
again, like my theory of him being able to grow that fast. Again, it's a fictional character.
Yeah.
Maybe he can grow that fast.
Maybe.
yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask you. You know a lot more about Godzilla than like we do, but is that doesn't mean anything, right?
No, I don't think it does.
Okay.
One last little quick thing, because I'm sure some people will watch this video and be like, "You're crazy. That can't be Destroya." What was Destroya's most terrifying power?
You want me to throw up a picture of Destroya?
Sure, if you can find one. I'll kill the mood.
Healing factor.
He could literally break himself apart into tiny little Destroyas and then pull himself back together. We saw that Godzilla fall apart. I'm telling you, and again, he has that weird mouth-looking thing on his chest. That is fucking Destroya. And now freaking Nori's gonna become violent. Oh my. That's
All I got
so
going through my
freaking-
mind is him ripping himself apart. Is the cell from a bridge.
Oh yeah, pulling his own arm off and shit.
Here comes Destroya.
That is Destroya. That is what Toho made when they said, we want a kaiju that looks like the devil.
And what movie is he from?
Godzilla versus Destroya. I believe he has a cameo in Final Wars, but I'm not sure. It's been so long since I saw that movie. I can't remember if he has a full-on scene or if he's just got a cameo. I think he was in it.
Yeah, his chest kind of looked like that. Not as defined,
Not-
like as detailed as that.
But you see
But
it.
like you could see the red and like
The tooth-looking...
Mhm.
Yeah.
And real quick, we're going to throw up a picture of Violenta.
There she is. Hi, Bio. Oh, God.
Let's do this better.
Uh...
Because I didn't have these pre-prepped.
Yeah, we
up,
didn't
and
have
this
these
is
ready.
Actually, a very bad picture of her.
That's Violenta. I believe she is, pound for pound, the biggest of Toho's kaiju.
And she's very... Again, she is my favorite. Like, Her movie, not necessarily my favorite movie, but monster-wise,
Oh, like you already know they're gonna do like if this ends up panning out, like if this ends up being like a trilogy and they end up doing this with all of them.
I see it. They're laying groundwork.
Yeah, because like again, like
if
in
they do,
Japanese culture, they don't give someone a name for no reason. Names, especially in movies, books, manga,
And
stuff
I'm
like
sorry.
that, it means something.
You have a woman who's clearly become corrupted by Godzilla, and her name literally translates to Law of the Divine Rose.
Rule of the Rose, Rule of the Divine Rose, Child of the Rose. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, that's Biolenta's ultimate form. She has another form. Do you have a picture of that one?
I'm literally just ripping these off real quick. What do I type in?
Oh god, what is her other form? It's like the beast flower form, I think, or just flower form.
Basically, she's a
Look
big plant.
look how she.
This? Yeah.
Yeah, what would you call that, Bear? What would you call that, Bishop?
That would be a
A
creepy
rose.
with teeth that will...
That's a rose. And
Pop
it's
it on
a
the screen.
yeah. Pop it on the screen so everybody else can see that I'm not crazy. And you're making. By the way, I had to. We had to open our mouths. Huh? What's her name translate to? I hope it means flower.
Oh no, I was gonna ask that regardless. Because I was just letting you go on your whole thing.
Oh my head actually hurts.
See, dyslexic brain thinks differently.
Oh my!
And when dyslexic brain decides to blow someone else's brain, it does a good job about doing it.
Oh,
Yay, dyslexic powers.
So here's...
there she is. That's the flower form.
and that's a rose.
That is a rose. It's a monster rose, but it's a rose.
I can just see him coming home. The house is destroyed. There's a giant rose where his wife should be.
Oh, that poor man!
And
He's
she's gonna-
been through so much.
And she's just gonna be just chasing him.
He's just crawling after it.
You should have married me. Because
Oh my!
she's
that's-
sad.
Yeah, because that's
'Cause-
another. Because like, that's another thing. Because when he said that, that's not what he wanted. You could tell she was. You couldn't see her face, but the body language that she was giving, she was upset about that.
Yeah, they showed her from behind. She was at the dishes cooking.
Upset, and then like.
You could tell she was very sad that he's not proposed to her.
That.
Yeah. And then like she's like okay fine, like 'cause she's been ready.
Oh.
She's like she sees him as her husband. Like that's her family.
Yeah.
When he comes back from work, like she has a uniform. She took a job as being a secretary somewhere.
Secretary, yeah.
To show that like
She could be a wife.
yeah. And like for him it's sudden. For her it's like
She was planning this.
Yeah. He tells her like this wasn't sudden for me. Like yeah.
And
Like
then his wife becomes
Nori.
this beautiful gal.
Oh.
And going back to it real quick, like you were saying, if they did this well on Godzilla and made him look that cool, that creepy.
How are they
Just
going to
to-
make Biolenta and Destroya look?
Yeah, just imagine like the detail they put into Godzilla.
like they had the budget that they used to make that movie. You know they're gonna get
Everything they can out of it.
not just that, but they're gonna get a bigger budget for the next one.
Would they need it?
For them, I bet you they don't, because they're probably gonna get the same group that worked on this one and work on the next one. It's gonna show that because this one shows they care about the end product. They care about what they're making.
Yeah.
The next one is gonna be as good or better.
Yeah, as long as they keep the same people.
Now the question is when they're gonna go into production for this. When they're gonna make it?
When?
Who knows?
Well,
I don't
they
know.
still have like people all over the world
Trying to see this movie.
Yeah,
wanting this movie in their country.
this is gonna become a classic.
There are 4 theaters in Spain playing this movie.
How many? And
There were less than 1,000 in North America when it released.
we
But
have
Toho said that they're going to get more.
yeah, because
Because again, look at the last couple Godzilla movies that have come out.
Do we have to?
No, but like, not that I do want to see them, except
My blood pressure. I don't know if I can.
I just want to see them just to see them.
There's Godzilla X Kong coming out, which
Please.
probably
no.
not gonna go see that one.
I'm gonna be
Kong
honest.
with
I'm
the
gonna wait
goddamn-
until I can see it on Amazon Prime or whatever.
I have
Yeah.
So I've always said that the worst trailer I've ever seen was Deadpool because they were trying to be bad.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But here's the thing: I saw that. I said that was the worst trailer I've ever seen. I still wanted to go see Deadpool. I saw the trailer for this new movie, this Godzilla X Kong Empire of Crap or something. I don't know what the hell it's called. Fuck it. Yeah, I said it into a live microphone. I don't care. It is the first trailer that I've ever watched for a movie and actually out loud said, I am not paying $15 for a movie ticket to go see that shit. I'm surprised that we spent 2 hours, almost 2 hours just talking about Godzilla -1. I could probably talk that long just about how god-awful Legendary's Godzilla movies are, and that trailer in particular is. I'm sure somebody is going to say something, you can bite me.
One of the movies I will rant about in a negative way is Godzilla 2014. One of the worst movies I have seen.
I didn't hate
that.
that.
I hate that movie.
And the only reason why I didn't hate it was because of one actor.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One actor.
Bryan Cranston. They hired Bryan Cranston because he was famous coming off Breaking Bad and immediately killed him. They wasted him. It wasn't that he died. It was that
they wasted him. He is such a fantastic actor.
he is good.
Out of the few actors that I want to meet, he is one of them, and I want to sit down and have a conversation with that man because I feel like it would be a treat.
I agree, but it's like they bought him.
They did the same thing with Kong Skull Island with the actor who plays Loki.
Yeah, they bought him for his star power and just killed him off. And they put him in the trailers.
Which sucks, because if you're going to have someone that famous to be in your movie,
use
them.
But that movie was such crap that they had to get him to draw people in.
They
had to get Walter White, Hal. They just had to have him because the movie was so bad.
And it sucks because he's such a good actor.
That movie was so below him. He should have.
Absolutely. That movie was below everyone.
No, the movie, like when the trailers were coming out, movies that were coming out, two of them I wanted to see. One of them was that spy movie because of John Cena.
Spy movie.
I forgot what it was called, but
I can't see it.
I can't see it either.
I don't care what you. I'm gonna go watch it just because.
Oh, the one we saw the trailer for? Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
that one.
Oh, you're talking about
the trailers that we
trailers.
Yeah, the one at -1's trailers. I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah, okay.
Because out of, in my opinion, there's only three wrestler actors out right now: The Rock, John Cena, and then the dude who played Batista.
Wait.
My sister had a crush on him briefly.
Wrestling actors?
That who have gone into movies.
Oh,
and have been successful.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Growing up, The Rock was my favorite wrestler.
My mother had such a crush on The Rock.
But as an actor, no.
He's a good voice actor. I'll say that.
Voice acting, yes. When it comes to like doing roles and whatnot, he always plays the same role. Doesn't matter what movie it is, he plays the same role. John Cena, he's good. He can do comedian. He can do action. He tries to put himself out there.
As long as he doesn't have to stand upright like you have a spine.
Yeah,
that's kind of his weakness, is that whole spine thing.
He doesn't have a spine anymore.
And then...
Konnichiwa, Cena.
Batista.
Batista's
that man can act.
Yeah.
He can do whatever role he needs to, and he does it well.
I like.
And the only reason why he's not going to be playing Drag the Destroyer anymore is because he doesn't want to get cast specifically for those types of roles.
He wants to go.
He wants to expand. He wants to grow. John Cena, he's growing as an actor. Because growing up, he was just doing coming into acting, he was just mostly doing the macho stuff like that. Peacemaker's one of my favorite roles with the dude.
He was good in that.
I haven't seen the show yet.
The Marine was decent, but it was also his first official movie. So
yeah.
But
like usually that dude, like when he plays different roles. He can do different stuff. He's a good actor.
But Batista is great.
Yeah.
He's most famous for, other than wrestling, Drax the Destroyer and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and
He's also in Blade Runner.
but he was in Blade Runner.
2049.
There was a horror movie that just came out that he was in. I don't remember the name of it.
He's in Dune very briefly, but
And then there's another movie where he's a secret agent, special force agent, and he has to take care of a kid, and like just watching him do that was good. The other movie that's coming out was Imaginary.
Oh, the evil teddy bear.
wait, he's in that?
No, but that's another. That's one of the. That's one of the trailers that was in that showed before. Godzilla.
Okay, I really want to know. Sorry. You can keep talking.
But the studio that's making it they've been doing good with horror movies.
Yeah. They're a little fond of jump scares, in my personal opinion, Blumhouse, but they're not terrible.
A few jump scares isn't that bad, but when you start, when your movie's nothing but jump scares,
that's the problem.
You just leave, just get out of the horror genre and just go away.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it flashed the name James Wan, but Imaginary is coming out next year, directed by Jeff Wadlow.
Wadlow. Why does that sound familiar?
It does sound familiar, but I don't know why. I'm horrible with remembering names and faces.
But
Most
we're
of the
at
names.
we're at 2 bloody hours.
Now,
Nothing really famous he's done. Kick-Ass 2, whoop-de-doo.
that was a funny movie. Now, the first Godzilla movie that I saw was, what?
He was an actor in the 2001 movie Pearl Harbor, and his role was next guy in line number 1.
Sweet.
I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just like Quentin Tarantino played Elvis in the Golden Girls as a background person. Jackie Chan was just like in the background. And...
Big Trouble Little China. He was in one of the fight scenes.
Sorry, I've cut you off twice. Now, I'm sorry.
But the first Godzilla movie I saw was the early 2000 one where he looked like a velociraptor.
Oh, TriStar. You're talking about TriStar's Godzilla. Hold on. I have a pile of DVDs here.
You do not have
This
that.
homeboy.
That one.
Do we have that one?
You
Not the movie. I have the
show.
animated series. Dude,
I saw this one in theaters
we're
with
getting
my
to
dad.
the end. I saw it for my birthday. We are getting really late in time, actually. But so before we go, I want to address 2 things. 1, legendary Godzilla films suck horrible ass. 2, get off of TriStar's Godzilla. Okay, look.
It was a good movie.
Let me get this off my chest.
Okay.
No, TriStar's Godzilla is not as bad of a movie as you remember. You hate it because of the fact you can't get over the fact that they used the wrong title. Now, yes, it was wrong of TriStar to call the movie Godzilla. Absolutely. Especially when Toho came forward, was like, we could help you make up another name for it. But TriStar was like, no, we want to use Godzilla. The series, and even the movie, was a perfectly fine kaiju film. Okay? You only hate it because you've been told you hate it by the internet, because everybody has a bug up their ass that they know. They didn't take 10 goddamn minutes and think of a new name. That is a fair point, but no, this movie does not deserve the hate and disdain that it gets, especially because it spawned, and I'll say it, this is the big hot take. Sean's going to lose his mind when I say this. This animated series is one of the best animated series that America ever put out. It has a massive, expansive collection of kaiju creatures that are very unique, very interesting. The animation was very unique.
I remember seeing the show on TV growing up too.
I remember seeing a couple episodes too.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just going to say it. If TriStar being lazy and not bothering to think of a name is the price that we paid for getting, first of all, a perfectly fine American kaiju film and an excellent animated series, deal. By the way, fun side note. This character eventually did actually become part of Toho's franchise because TriStar let the copyright lapse. So Toho bought it from them for like literally pennies on the dollar.
And now it's called Zilla.
Just Zilla. It had a cameo. He had a cameo in Final War where he like instantaneously got Kenny'd. I'm not joking.
Oh my gosh, they killed Zilla!
You know what would be cool if they came out with a game where you could play like the kaijus,
They have a few different kaiju fighting games.
but like not like yeah, you can fight, but like an open world one where you start off, you pick a kaiju you want,
and you just have to like survive and get bigger.
Yeah, as big as you can.
That would be cool. But
and then like to where like you can fight other kaijus.
Yeah. Seriously, there needs to be more kaiju games in general. Every kaiju game now, they just are so lazy about it. But anyway, back to my point. No, TriStar Godzilla is not one of the worst films ever made. Okay.
The worst one was where they said Godzilla, but you didn't even see him in the goddamn movie.
Oh, 2014, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This crime against eyeballs.
I
literally. You think I'm joking? I literally feel like I need to wash my hands right now.
I saw that in theaters. Biggest freaking disappointment movie I've seen next to
I
one.
saw it in movie theaters.
Okay, the airport. Such an amazing build-up. Godzilla's gonna fight the new monster.
What were they called? Muto?
Muto.
Muta.
And it's like Godzilla's foot. All you see is his foot. And then the planes blow up, and then you see the Muta. And it's like such a great battle. Godzilla roars, cut to a kid watching TV. Oh, and then the airport was destroyed, and the Muta flew away.
The problem is, like, when that came out, it came out when, like, the first-person recording cam was such a big thing.
Yeah, but
and
that was a fad, and Hollywood and Legendary, with all that money, should have known that.
Yep.
I will say something about the director, Gareth Edwards. He directed Godzilla. He got the job because he directed a movie called Monsters. He is about size and size comparison, which is perfect for Godzilla. Really well done in Godzilla -1.
Absolutely.
And then when Disney got Star Wars, he was attached to Rogue One.
Rogue One was actually a good movie.
Oh no, this guy shouldn't be in it. And Rogue One is the only good thing Disney has done with Star Wars. Besides early Mandalorian.
That's the thing, like, let the people do the movie. Stop putting your fucking message in there. Stop fucking with shit. Let them do the fucking movie.
And Rogue One, I argue, is very good. I really enjoy Rogue One. The only thing I can say...
The only Disney movie that was good was Star Wars.
Yes.
Mandalorian isn't a movie, it's a TV show.
And as much as I don't like this movie, Gareth Edwards redeemed himself and more with Rogue One.
Okay.
That movie being crap is worth getting Rogue One.
But yeah, I'm gonna end this tonight by saying this. If I had to choose between watching all 40 episodes of TriStar's animated Godzilla series or having to watch the Legendary movies and get like $1 million, I would still watch the fucking cartoon because I'm sorry. These are objectively bad movies.
I would watch that for the money. And then I would go back to watch that to get the horrible taste out of my mouth. But I'll have the money.
Yeah, I'd watch that for the money, and then I'd buy all the others, and then watch them.
I honestly think Godzilla movies should be made by people who are passionate, who care about the franchise, who care about the lore, who care about the fandom.
And it's
they
weird.
should only be made by people who actually care, because like it's such a close knit fandom and lore that you can't fuck it up. The only way you can fuck it up is if you are an idiot.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Legendary are a bunch of idiots.
They're fucking retards.
And Godzilla -1, you can tell everybody.
He's not in the chat, so I'll say it for him, because there's an expression that Open Eyes likes to use. They're Californian.
Well, I like to use a different phrase, but I'm pretty sure I can't say it because we'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
But they've heard me say it. It starts with Doff, and it ends with a C. Word.
You had something to say that you wanted to sign off on.
Really quickly, Godzilla -1, everybody on it, you can tell, loved what they were doing. This, I think Gareth Edwards actually liked what he was doing, but he was corralled by Legendary. And the reason I say that is because when he got on Rogue One, you can tell he loved what he was doing, and he did Rogue One well.
He
when
did.
when they were filming, he probably worked his ass off, did everything he was supposed to.
And they screwed him over.
And during the fucking editing, they fucked it all up.
Yeah, because the airport scene, such a great build-up.
You could tell it was cut.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Like studios trying to get people to do something,
and then
fucking over everybody, the actors,
No.
the fans. Green Lantern.
Now,
yeah, and then Rogue One comes along, and it's just.
I have 2 questions to wrap up tonight. Number 1, what would you give? 1 to 10, what score would you give -1?
Oh, 10 out of 10.
If you want me to get into nitpicks, basically the water animation was the only thing that I noticed that was not that great. But that's such a small nitpick. 9.5, 10 out of 10. It was -1 was an amazing movie.
Yeah, I personally agree.
I
would say
didn't even notice the water. I was too distracted by Godzilla.
Godzilla. Some of it you could tell, like the water effects was like real. Some of it was really well done, and then there was a couple times. Again, this is a very minor nitpick.
See, I was gonna say I would say 9.5 just because technically I don't think any film could be a perfect 10. So that's just my personal principle. I love Jurassic Park. I wouldn't even give Jurassic Park a 10.
See, I'd
say 9.5. But that's because on principle I don't want to give a 10.
I love the movie. I'm giving it a 10.
Honestly, out of all the Godzilla movies I've seen, this is my favorite. I mean, I like Tokyo SOS.
That was fun.
Let me put it this way. I would go back to the movie theater, go watch that movie again.
I would too, yeah.
I would, absolutely.
It's something I can rewatch and enjoy every time.
Now, I have one last question because
Johnson
this is
wants
something...
Baby Godzilla lore. Really bad.
Oh, Baby Godzilla. Okay, real quick. Baby Godzilla. So, Baby Godzilla... first of all, Mama Godzilla is long gone in the original lore. Because Godzilla is a dinosaur, actually. In fact, the species is called Godzillasaurus. In the original Showa era, they don't actually explain where Baby Godzilla came from. In the Heisei era, they explained that he was in an egg that it hadn't properly matured, and so it was dormant. And Rodan accidentally nursed it to life again, thinking that it was one of his species' egg. And that's why in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, Rodan basically tries to raise Baby Godzilla, and then later goes to help Godzilla because Rodan, even though he doesn't like Godzilla, he cares about Baby Godzilla. And if you want to protect Baby Godzilla, you need...
Godzilla.
Exactly. But anyway, Baby Godzilla was originally an imaginary friend, actually. He was in... The first movie was in Son of Godzilla, or Monster Island, as it was also called. And it was basically about a little boy who was bullied. And so he would escape from the trauma of his tormentors by imagining that he lived on Monster Island with Godzilla. But of course, Godzilla is this gigantic creature. He can't be your best friend. He can't be your friend, right? Well, what if there was a tiny Godzilla? Baby Godzilla. And oddly, for some reason, Toho just kept this character, even though everything that happens in Son of Godzilla is basically a dream. None of the monsters are actually there. But for some reason, Baby Godzilla, or Godzilla Jr., I believe his canon name is Milia? I believe is Milla?
No, I just
Milia?
thought it was about something stupid.
You? No. Okay.
Baby Godzilla versus Baby Yoda. My money's on Baby Godzilla.
Grogu?
We're all hoping for Baby Godzilla to just destroy that abomination against mankind.
See, there's Baby Godzilla, who's ugly, and then there's Manila, who's cute.
Yeah, it's Manila.
Oh, they're both the same.
Yeah, they're the same creature. Godzilla Jr., Baby Godzilla, and Manila are all the same creature, just with different names from different eras. They didn't call him Baby Godzilla until Heisei. In the Showa era, he was Godzilla Jr. But it was in the Millennium series that they actually gave him a name, Manila. I'm not sure which one, how you pronounce it, but anyway, Manila. But that's what he is. And it's funny too, because he was very unpopular, actually. And then in Godzilla vs. Destroya, they kill him.
And that's when
brutally.
That's when everybody was like, "How could you?"
Yeah, no, everyone was like betrayed because it was like, okay, yeah, we said he was annoying. We didn't want him to die. We didn't want to. You didn't want you to kill the baby. We just thought he was ugly.
I'm hoping they bring him back.
Oh, I would
Just
be
to kill him off again.
No, mother. Oh. Oh, Sean, I'm sorry. Did you not know that?
What?
I don't think Sean knew that Baby Godzilla dies. That Destroya kills him. I didn't know. It's a movie that's been out for like decades. It came back out in...
He's asking for lore. And he got
That's
some
true.
lore.
Oh,
Which is not the lore he was expecting.
Godzilla vs. Destroya came out in 97?
Dude, if they made a game where you have to be a kaiju and you have to like grow up to be like big and like be able to fight other kaijus, that would be the best way to bring back Baby Godzilla.
Bring him in the... Yeah, have a game playing Baby Godzilla. Hi, Scraps. Yeah, no, Sean. Destroya kills Baby Godzilla. Because, you see, here's the thing. They thought that they were going to end the franchise with Destroya. Because Godzilla dies too, actually. Spoiler warning for this movie that's almost as old as I am.
Then why, if you've never watched any Donzen, why do you care about Baby Godzilla?
Sean, you backstabbing little heretic.
He's trolling you.
You've never...
Man, I've never seen that movie. And yet, I was able to make that connection.
I just realized that he's like, oh, Baby Godzilla lore, it's more important than your movie. And it's like, Baby Godzilla lore. Oh, I've never seen any of them. He's trolling you.
So, next
anyway,
week...
back
Next
to your
week is going to
topic.
be our next week is going to be our last episode before Christmas. So next week we're going to be talking about some various legends of Christmas and the various winter holidays and so on.
Krampus?
Krampus, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Krampus, not Krampus.
I say it Krampus.
Well, you say it wrong.
No
Anyway, to everyone except for Baby Godzilla, who's dead as a doornail, we will see you next week. I am your host, Kristoff N. Chester. These are my wonderful doggos, Famine and Gluttony. This is my former mucho grande amigo,
Shows
Jesus.
up every once in a while.
Not coming back this time, you motherfucker.
Says you.
There's the bishop over in the corner.
Hi.
Go see Godzilla -1. And if you've already seen it, go see it again, you stupid son of a bitch. And as always, keep checking the shadows. Never seen a Godzilla. What the fuck is wrong with
I've never seen that one. Then again, my taste and, well, the ones I have seen aren't that big.
Godzilla -1 was good.